A common goal and challenge for salons and spas is increasing revenue year over year. However, this can often prove to be a stressful task for managers and owners. But what if there is a solution that's often overlooked yet readily available that can help generate significant revenue growth and improve client satisfaction? Well, it may be too good to be true, but there is a solution that does exist: retail. Maximizing your business's ability to promote and sell retail can help unlock a full revenue potential of your salon or spa. And to learn the secrets to boosting your revenue sales, we cannot be more excited to be joined today by our very special guest and retail guru, John Cutrone, the Director of Sales of North America at Eufora International.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.
John, welcome to Coffee Talk, and thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to join you guys, and I'm excited to chat a little bit today and see where we go.
So am I. And before we get started today, don't forget to go ahead and hit that thumbs up button below and subscribe to our MSI YouTube channel so you never miss out on a future Coffee Talk. So John, are you ready to get started?
Sure am.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for you to be here today and chat. So let's dive right in. What is the business within concept?
Yeah, the business within concept is something that I feel like our industry needs to take a deeper look at. And right now, it's a mindset. It's a culture that we need to create around retail that has been missing within our salons. I feel right now that the retail world is disrupting our industry. And if we're not careful, we will leave ourselves kind of outdated in this time. And so if we took everything else away that we do in our business, salons are so heavy on service. If we took everything else away that we did with service, how would we approach our business? And the pandemic actually showed us this. There was a time when the only profits we could generate were from retail. And so I want to dig deeper on that. Once we had that moment of no services and just retail, how did we start to reshift our mind? How did we start to change the culture? And what did we do that allowed us to really separate ourselves to generate additional profits in our company? And that got the mind thinking. And so this is our most profitable space in the business. Why aren't we doing that now that we're back to services? If this is the number one profit per retail square foot, why aren't we doing that in our business right now? It's happening right in front of our eyes. If you walk into a Target, you see a Starbucks, a separate business within a business that's existing inside of that. They could have made Target coffee. They have the means to do it, but they're doing Starbucks business within a business. And that allowed them to put a ton of focus on all the intentional systems that are needed to be a successful profit center for coffee. Ulta is now found inside of Targets, and they're bringing a beauty space to the Target model. Kohl's has now had Sephora join them, and they used to be kind of found in a lot of the demographics as a side-by-side. You would see a strip center with a Kohl's, and then you might see a Sephora next door. Funny now that they've actually merged, and you have a beauty center for Kohl's now inside of it that is Sephora. So how could we look at our business and change that model and approach it differently? Just like when you went to the gym and they added the smoothie shop or the creatine protein bar that was inside of the gym. Really taking your mind and focusing on your business as it has a second business, a profit center inside of it.
I like that approach of an explanation too, right? Because myself, as someone who's come from the spa industry, retail was something that we always tried to push, but never once did I ever look at it as almost like its own entity. It was always something that we were like trying to introduce with everything else and fully basically merge it as one business. I never looked at it as it truly could be two things, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it gets lost in the wash many times, and it's 5 to 10% of our design center. Like if you took the actual footprint of the salon, it's 5 to 10%. You generally go in and go right. You look, it's there, it's off to the right, right? And then now it's 5 to 10% of our mindset. It's the last thing hairdressers want to talk about. And we really, if we had no services, we would have salespeople. We would have a different group of army who would work that retail boutique shopping space in a different light. And so that's what we need to get to, is actually seeing it as a second business, even to the point of like your profit and loss statement, running it like a separate business.
I like that. So that brings me to my next question. So why is retail so critically important then for salons and spas?
Okay, that's a great question. If we took our services, a $100 service equals about $7 in profit when you net it out. When you take $100 in retail sales, you have about $38 in profit. So it's about 5 times. For example, we would have to do $500 in services just to have the same amount of profit that we have from a $100 retail sale. So it's 5 times more profitable. Why are we allowing it to be just 5 to 10% of our focus when it is 5 times the profitability of our services? It's why the Ulta footprint is 95% retail and 5% services in the back. And what we're trying to do is encourage the salon to reapproach that mindset and shift the mindset to help them generate more profits. Number two, the retail landscape is changing. Other companies are getting savvy. E-commerce has changed the way we do things, and we don't want to become stale. So if we're not generating a second source of revenue as a profitable business inside of our business, then we're going to be disrupted by the things that are going on around us, and it's time for us to step up. And number three, we need to capture discretionary dollars. Right now, the best thing we can do, if others are getting more savvy in their shopping centers, we need to make sure we have the guests in our chair. Other companies wish they had time, 45 minutes to an hour, to have somebody listening to them so that they could sell them all of the great opportunities that they have for their prescription. We have that time in our chair, so we need to capture those discretionary dollars now. And what I mean by that is, let's take holiday, for example. They say the National Retail Federation says that the person who's spending money on holiday generally spends around $821 on holiday personal care type of gifting gifts, right? And so that $821 that's available, actually, I'm going to backtrack on what I just said. So it's not $820 in personal care, it's $820 in gifts that they're buying per year. And if some of that's going to fall in the personal care space or giving gifts for friends, families, uncles, aunts, things like that, why don't we capture those dollars first? Why don't we become the one-stop shop first before they walk into a Sephora that's now positioned in a Kohl's, before they head into a Target who now has that Ulta inside of it, or before they see something online through their Instagram feed? We have the guest, we have the time, and we have those discretionary dollars. That's our goal, is to capture that first.
So now that we kind of understand why it's important, right? What would you say are some of your best practices for business owners who want to increase their retail sales? Because I'm pretty sure everybody's excited, right?
Right.
After all these explanations, they're like, okay, now tell me, how could I do it?
Yeah. So just to recap, 2 things I started with is budget the business as if it's separate. Okay. So you're budgeting your dollars, your investment of dollars that you're going to put into the displays, the merchandising, all of that. Change the mindset, right? We've got to shift the mindset. That means engaging our team and asking them, if we were to open a boutique inside of our salon, what would we do differently? How would we approach it? Questions like, who would manage it? Who's going to be the one who's actually a manager, like the store manager for the boutique, right? How would we greet our guest in this shopping boutique? When a guest walks into a Sephora, they're greeted, right? And they're greeted and they're talked about, what are the opportunities, the specials, what are you looking for? And they direct them to different parts of the business. We have people come in, they check in, but it's all about the service. And we forget that we have this high profit center. So how would we treat them if that was the only business? How would we greet them? Who's on our sales team? Who are our actual sales team? Well, of course, we always know that that's the stylist, but what if we had a retail committee, a team who was focused just on the success of retail, right? And so let's say our staff meetings are coming up. They're spending time. If it was the only thing we could do in our business, wouldn't we spend time talking each staff meeting about a different category of these retail products that we have, whether it's all of our curly guests and how we're going to focus on how we prescribe for our curly guests, what are our curly shopping opportunities? And the other thing is master the products. Each staff meeting should be the time for us to become the expert at our products. I dare to say that a salon knows about 10% of what the real actual product knowledge is about the products they sell, because we're so focused on many things. If we really treated it like it was his own boutique, we would master those products and speak to them in that way, right? So master the products, measure. I don't know that we're measuring to know, when do we have our very best week, month, season, campaign? And if that campaign was so successful, then why in a year are we trying to find something brand new to do when we know, now that we've measured, what are the ones that are most successful, and we'll do it annually, we'll do it again. And what are the ones that we want to, can, because they were not strong enough from what we learned from the measuring. So the other things about measurement, if it was the only business we had, we would know, what are the top 10 movers? What are the tier 2 movers, the next 10? And what are the tier 3 movers? And then we would get creative, and we would work in our staff meetings about, how do we lift products from tier 2 to tier 1? How do we lift products from tier 3 to tier 2? What do we need to know about those? So really being intentional is the point I'm trying to make, is we've got to have an intentional mindset about the success of retail and measure those types of things. So measurement's important. And finally, a huge thing, I spoke about this a bit on the business mastery session that I did, which is, how does our feel of our shopping experience look? If it's truly boutique, shouldn't it feel differently? If you walk into Target right now and go into the cookware section, you would actually see that we used to walk down Target aisles and they were 8 to 9 foot big tall towers of walls of shopping opportunities. Now it's opened up into sight lines that you can see all the way through. They're on tables that are more waist height. There's special lighting featuring the specific options. It's shoppable. It's inviting. It's more experiential. The opportunity for us to really change the way we do retail is now. It's time for us to re-merchandise our salon and reshift our boutique. I would not suggest that we take the old best practice. I would say that we disrupt it because we're being disrupted. So I would walk into a salon in the past, and every time you walk in, you look to the right, 5 to 10% of a wall is filled with retail. And that's what they say. People usually walk in, they look right, and then they go shop. Let's have them walk in and look center, right, left, up, down. Let's break the rules. And so I would, if you walk into a beautiful shopping boutique, why couldn't you take a glance to the left and see awesome new opportunities that weren't available in the salon before, whether it's jewelry or purses or other skincare options, things like that. And why aren't we breaking those rules, bringing in a more boutique shopping experience, and then having our guides available to help people shop in our environment? We've got to enhance the lighting. We've got to make it more inviting to shop from. We have to have disruptor tables so that when people are walking through, they get disrupted through the journey by something that says, check me out. And then beautiful signage that's talking to me that tells a story. What are we focusing on in our business today? This story should match all through your business. Okay. When I go to a website, I want to be able to know that at the website, what's going on in that business's boutique, at the social media page, what's going on in that boutique, at the windows. When I walk through the salon and I see the windows, they start to tell me that story. They invite me into the journey. Right? Think about walking down Fifth Avenue. Those windows start you off on what you're looking for. You open the doors. The signage should speak to you at the salon coordinator station. The signage should speak to you at the merchandising display, in the retail display, at the bathrooms, at the salon station. We've got to tell our story and be intentional about what we're doing because, like I said, it could be five times the profit when you sell that retail SKU. And an old coach of mine said to me once that up to 70% of your profit in your business of a salon could and should come from retail. Yet we get very stuck in the actual technical part of our business. And I'm not saying to push that aside. I'm just saying if we're going to have retail opportunities, let's really master them because others are trying to dip their toe into our profits. And I'm sorry if that was a long-winded answer. I have one last note. Your digital space, omni-channel selling is a reality today. So if somebody's on your social media post and you're featuring smooth, straight, beautiful hair, have a place that they can click through and make their way right into a purchase so that we can capture both our brick and mortar and our digital space.
So I liked all of those points. And one of the things that I'm remembering is from the very beginning when you were like making sure that you know how to measure it. One of the things that I like that you said was, do you know what your top couple of items are, whether they be the first tier, the second tier, or the third tier? And in the past, those weren't things that I could have been able to measure as a manager working in the spa. But one thing that I like recently, we actually have a feature inside of Mevo 2 that's called sales ranking. And that sales ranking will actually give you that information. And we also have reports then will also tell you how profitable is that product and like versus what your actual rate of purchasing it versus how much you actually sold it at. So regardless of what discounts you might be offering, right? Because I know that you also mentioned some marketing aspects in there too, right? Really understanding what campaigns are working. Then that brings me to Emma. Like there's so many things that you're saying that hopefully if, we have people who are watching today that are Mevo 2 users, if this is something that you want to do, I encourage you, right, to take advantage of those features. And I'm going to put it out there just because I am a social media person. I'm a millennial, right? Let's be real. I am a millennial. So I do the majority of my shopping on Instagram now. If I can click on something, I won't even go to the Walmart page anymore because some blogger posted something about something and now I want those jeans or I want that sweater. So I can definitely see how the world of the age is changing a little bit. Yeah. So I like all of those recommendations.
Yeah, and just a couple notes on that. Right now, the average retail transaction at Euphora.net is $86 in 3 SKUs. Okay, so people want to buy products, yet the average salon is less than 1 bottle. And so we want to help guide them into multiple units. And that's why that ranking report that you were speaking about is so powerful because, we kind of get into our sweet spot, stylists do, and they sell their favorite products. They sell the ones they like to use on their hair. And forever, people would tell us not to run a promotion on curl products because they don't sell as fast as some other ones. Well, guess what? When the lockdown happened and everybody had to be forced to buy online, we got tons of data from that. And what we found is that the curl products became our fastest movers. So we went to our salons and asked them, you ask us not to put those on promotion and to put the best sellers always there, but if we only feature the best sellers every time, we just get stuck in having a brand of 5 to 10 products. Yet we have amazing products in our repertoire. Why hold all that inventory space if we're not going to turn it? So we put a ton of energy into educating, marketing, merchandising some of those products. Tier 3 products moved up to tier 2. Tier 3 products jumped to tier 1. And now all of a sudden, the product that was sitting more towards the middle that you weren't ordering as much is flying because you put the right attention on it through education, through merchandising, through story, all of that. And so we really want to help lift that up and encourage our salons to really know what products are top movers and how do we tie those in with middle movers and cross market those products. The social media thing, that is a reality, and we really need to be smart about how we tell our story and make sure that we're hitting all of the spaces. So everything that's happening in salon should have, we're getting away from the words promotions because a promotion just means a sale. It just means a box set of discounted product. A campaign is a full seasonal story that brings you into the whole journey of how that's going to be beneficial for you, the consumer, why, and then we tell all the stories of how they find that within our business. From the windows, like I talked about, to the signage, to the social media post, even the website, it's all got to look like consistent, cohesive messaging because the best retailers in the world, they do that already. Salons are a little bit behind on that. And Euphora has solutions for that in our platform where we design all the marketing ahead for them so that they have all of those tools in a one-stop page and then they just bring it to life.
So how does Euphora help the industry realize the full potential of retail?
Yeah, this is our sweet spot. We live in this space. We love it. This is our strengths. And so we have so much when it comes to this. You know, we're a company who has amazing products, amazing R&D, but our true number one passion is to elevate the industry through leadership. And so we do this through a group of ways. One of them, we had a coffee talk from Angie Lund about our 8 steps to success. This is a system that we want to create within our salons that is a consistency system. So we coach. So the first answer to that is we coach stylists on what is the proper dialogue? When is the right time to talk about these opportunities with your guests? When is the wrong time to do that? How do you have that dialogue and that conversation? And the 8 steps is a steps of the service consistency system. So like if you went to Starbucks in New York, Shanghai, or Chicago, right, you would get a consistent experience. We want to make sure that happens with our Euphora salons all around the country, right? We also happen to have 10 to 15 business educators on our national business trainer team. And so those national business trainers are found in the local trades and published in all kinds of articles. They're out speaking inside of salons. They're speaking in local markets, doing shows and business sessions on that. And so we coach all of these best practices with our business team. We have a really great unlimited amount of education on our virtual education platform, which is Euphora.university. There's no .com, .net, none of that. It's just Euphora.university, where a lot of this type of coaching that we're talking about today is recorded in business sessions that's available to the salons to experience on our virtual sessions. So we have all of that. And then we happen to have academies all throughout the nation and a flagship in San Diego. And one of our best classes that people love is a 4-day immersion into Euphora Business Intelligence. Euphora Business Intelligence is everything a salon owner needs to know about driving profitability in their organization, building their team, and leading their culture. And so we work through all of those things with them on a 4-day session. They have to come with a partner so that they leave with an accountability buddy to make sure that they implement the practices they spent 4 days on and enjoying in San Diego. And then finally, you know, we're a business brand who happens to have great products. We're a great product brand who happens to do amazing business, but we have a leadership summit that happens every other year where we invite all of our salons and non-Euphora salons to join us for business-minded leadership on a 2-day. There's great speakers and main stage speakers and industry and non-industry speakers, great breakout rooms. All of that is in our portfolio. We go deep on education as a brand, and we want to drive all of these learning opportunities through to our salons. So from where I started, from in-salon classes, speakers coming into your local market, all the way through to virtual opportunities, all the way through to traveling to different academies or destination events like our virtual or like our Vision Quest that we had just this past year.
That's awesome. So, I mean, it's pretty safe to say that this sounds like a no-brainer, right? But I want to thank you so much for joining us for Coffee Talk, John. It was absolutely amazing. And I know that our clients are definitely going to appreciate the advice that you shared with us today. So thank you so much for sharing that expert advice and joining us for today's episode.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I had a blast. Thank you, guys.
You're so welcome. That's awesome. So, guys, as always, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed today's episode and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on a future coffee talk and the latest updates from MSI. We'll see you guys next time on Coffee Talk. Bye, guys.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.